They thought it was a game, but then he grabbed the mic on the floor, and Wall Street shut the hell up.
Rick. He called a shot and a tick, make the market do a flip. Rick. He got the floor in a grip, tell the Fed suck a dick. Rick. No script, just spit, every bomb boy dip. Rick. The realest one left, that's it. Yo, Santelli stepping in, floor flashing like a riot scene. T-bills in the air screaming freedom like it's 1917. Spitting tickets like a preacher in a pulpit of greed, while Powell printing trillions like the market don't bleed. Got that trench coat swag like Capone with a mic on. He don't need a desk, CNBC is Python. Snakes in the grass, he hedge them with a tight bond. Spitting facts raw than the coke that the white's on. Rick got the street smarts mixed with market math. Taught bulls a charge while he laugh in a bubble bath. His ticker talk tick like a Glock in the glass. Man, he ETF the nation with a verbal bypass. Rick. Said inflation's a trick, now the market looking sick. Rick. His voice make him trip, bonds curl up and dip. Rick. They fear the floor king quick, he don't blink, he don't flick. Rick. Ain't no coddled analyst, he that brick by brick. Santelli speak like the ghost of the Dow. Back when coke deals got you equity now. Shirt cuff tied loose, spit truth with a scowl. A voice so sharp it cut debt from a vow. Options in his pocket like coins in a priest tray. Talking yield curves while your funds get souffle. Fed boys tremble, they stutter when he relay. By the dip, nah son, Rick been prepaying. Bloomberg cute, he the alleyway data. Grew up with the wolves, eating spreads off the beta. Ain't no ETF smoothing out his behavior. He call a crash like a profit, no savior. Cash flow lava, his mind like a black box. Watch NBC live, you might need a Xanax. Rick spit war like a quant with a padlock. Guns go gamma and a mean ass backdrop. He ain't from the suits, he from the truth. Floorboard profit, bond market locksmith. He don't chase yield, yield chases him. Rick ain't worried about the next run, he built it. Rick. Make your algos glitch with a truth so rich. Rick. He don't flinch, don't switch, just spit and pitch. Rick. The voice of the pit, every tick got grit. Rick. The street crown king, that's it. Wall Street warrior.
Oh, brother. It looks like we need our hero, Rick, to potentially save the market today. Folks, if you haven't already, you might not want to look at pre-market trading because all of a sudden things went from pretty freaking green and optimistic. And just like that, from 8:29 to 8:30 a.m. ET, everything tanked. And if you want to know why it tanked, we had one of the worst inflation reports we've had in about 3 years. The producer price index, the little brother to the consumer price index that seemingly no one really cares about. Well, turns out the little brother's been on bath salts for a little bit. He hasn't been going to church. He hasn't been doing his studies. His parents are no longer happy with him because we got destroyed. Literally the worst PPI report. It was so magnificently off of the forecasted number that it almost makes you wonder why those people have a job. It got wrecked, absolutely crashing out. So maybe Rick will be able to save the market today, but that would even be a lift for him. And I get it. He's all powerful. He can do exactly what he needs to do. And fingers crossed for him. Fingers crossed for him. My positions, your positions. I know going into market close, many of us were long on equities, long calls, crypto. And I'm afraid to look at my account early this morning because when the market opens, it's going to be a murder scene. Just as I was getting my footing, digging myself out of the hole that I built a week ago, all of a sudden someone just decided to drive in with an excavator and just dump a truckload on me. And now instead of being in a hole that I was digging out of, I'm now covered by a mountain of debris. It's going to be a brutal one. Gonna be a brutal one. And then on top of that, dude, fuck, I just can't catch a break, because on top of that, you guys saw that Skynet, because of the Rhythmic issue, went a little bit wonky yesterday, so it fired off too because of the whole Rhythmic NinjaTrader issue. Technically, it wasn't a code issue. It kind of was, because I coded up a workaround for that weird problem. But anyway, those accounts were lost on Apex, so I've decided to restart on Tradeovate. So today should be the first day without that fictitious phantom position issue. So I'm done with Rhythmic, which sucks. It's bittersweet. It sucks that I blew out that money. But it's the sweet part is that I'm now on Tradeovate. So I was able to update my code all night. And ideally, I'm going to be able to run it now without that problem. So I'm excited to see how it plays out. So it feels sketchy. The first day in production, I'm doing it when the PPI report just completely kicked the market in the ball sack. Like, this feels like we're not starting off the new code on level 1. It feels like we're starting it off on like level 8, and I've only done some like playback testing. Obviously, I haven't done any out of sample testing because this is the first day. So I don't know. I guess we're back to my old ways of when I was in college, where instead of testing it, just fuck it, ship it. We're going to see how it plays out. So here's the plan. I'm going to break down everything going on in the market, obviously, with a specialty focus on both the PPI report and how much stocks and crypto just got their balls kicked in. Then from there, we have a little bit of individual equity updates. And really, I want to explain the newest setup that I have going with Skynet. We're on Skynet version fucking gazillion, but hopefully, like a phoenix rising from the ashes, this will ideally turn out in my favor, but you never know. All right, here's what's going on. Dow futures dropped 200 points after July's wholesale inflation is much hotter than expected. Yes, it is brutal. U.S. producer prices rise by most in 3 years on services. And then I believe the headline is the biggest pop since like maybe June of 22 or something like that. The numbers are brutal. So we also got initial jobless claims. They were fine. Came in at 224, expecting 225. That's not the issue. The issue is right here. The month over month reading was expected to be 0.2. It came in at 0.9. That is so incredibly bad. They were off by 0.7% on the inflation prediction for 1 month. Absolutely insane. And as you might imagine, when that came in, it's not just hot. This is when people are saying, oh, like the inflation report's hot. We're not talking about like Sydney Sweeney in the American Eagle jeans campaign hot. That's like, oh, you're up by 1/10. This is like fucking the sun went supernova, and all of a sudden we were the rocket ship right by it. This isn't just a little hot. This is like, oh, fuck, we're kind of dead type of hot. So that's exactly why the market just everywhere. SPY, Qs, Russell, Bitcoin, everything just got nuked. And that's what happens when you have a historically bad report. Like, that was brutally bad. So, of course, we're going to be coming back to that. I just want to let you guys know the TLDR right as you're joining the show of why things are so bad. Of course, I'll be coming back to it, but I do want to remind you that there are other things going on that maybe help us or maybe make the situation worse. Trump agrees on Ukraine, red lines with Europe before Putin summit. So basically, there's the whole he said, she said of, are we going to get the three-way, the menage a trois between Trump, Putin, and Zelensky? Is it going to happen in Alaska? Is it going down? Both sides were kind of playing it up. Recently, they're trying to say, not that important. We're just going to be feeling each other up. Going into it, the one maybe recent impactful thing we've heard about is that Ukraine is going to be trying to like hold pretty steady on the land that is currently technically in their name, but Russia might be playing the game of I want it back. And according to this headline, at least according to the Wall Street Journal, it seems as if Trump will be siding with Ukraine, will be siding with Zelensky. U.S. leader tells his European peers that he won't negotiate territorial issues during Friday's meeting, but will seek an immediate ceasefire. So this is going to be going down somewhat soon, like I've been pitching you guys all week. This could end up being pretty good if all tensions simmer down. It could also be pretty freaking bad if tensions get worse. So you might want to be paying attention to that. Trump signals tough stance with Putin ahead of the Alaska summit. Once again, going down tomorrow. All right,
Yes, they will. There will be consequences.
Sanctions, tariffs?
There will be, I don't have to say, there will be very severe consequences.
Meanwhile, European leaders have stressed to Trump that Ukraine needs robust security guarantees to ensure that any deal reached holds. Joining us now for analysis is Stuart Livingston-Wallace, Bloomberg's executive editor for the Middle East, North Africa and Russia. Morning, Stuart.
Stuart
Would
does a
Russia
lot.
really agree to a ceasefire unless Ukraine hands over territory, which, of course, President Zelensky has ruled out?
Yeah, good morning, Lizzie. I mean, I think that is the key question. And I think the assumption is it's going to be very difficult for him to sell a deal that has no territory involved to his own government. Remember that he went into this basically saying it was an existential question for the future of Russia. And if he comes out of it with no territory gained, then it's going to be very difficult for him to justify both the cost in economic and in terms of, obviously human life that they've had to go through in the last several years. Might there be some permutation around security guarantees, a guarantee that Ukraine is never going to be part of NATO, that he could sell as a victory, conceivably, but it seems a little bit of a long shot.
And we had this Trump call with European leaders. Do I detect a disparity between the readouts from both sides in terms of, what happens if Putin doesn't agree to a ceasefire tomorrow? Is there a sense that there's a different outcome in their minds, especially when it comes to a follow-up meeting with Trump, Putin and Zelensky?
No, I think you're right. There's definitely an element of that, although it's very hard to parse out quite what Trump's position is, because it does appear to have shifted a little bit in the last several days. It started with the threat of sanctions, or much harder sanctions. It then became, somewhat softer. And now after this call with the EU leaders, again, that clip you played at the beginning of the segment, he's back to talking about severe consequences. So, I think really what we're going to have to do is wait and see what happens at the summit in Alaska, get the readout from that and see what Trump's position is. But in terms of the EU position, I think that has been pretty firm since day one in terms of what needs to happen, which is that no one should be making concessions on behalf of Ukraine. And fundamentally, you need some sort of security guarantee there that this isn't going to repeat itself, because that is Ukraine's big concern, that you cede territory and that just becomes a launching pad for the next offensive.
So everyone obviously will be paying attention to that technically tomorrow. Be on the lookout. It might be a nothing burger, but obviously I wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't call it out to all of you. All right. This brings us to the hot news of what's going on. If you're just joining right now, there's a very good chance that you're thinking, what just happened? And the answer to what just happened is inflation came in red hot right here. PPI year over year, they expected to be 2.5, came in at 3.3, 0.8% higher. PPI month over month came in at 0.9. They were expecting 0.7. 0.2, which means it was off by 0.7. If you look at core PPI, it came in at 3.7. They were expecting 3. And then if you look at core PPI month over month, they were looking at 0.2, came in at 0.9. So a giant miss in the wrong direction. If it were a giant miss the other way, if it was as cool as could be, we'd probably be already at a new all-time high. Unfortunately, we are getting our balls kicked in. Little bit of a recovery. The SPY is right at the low from yesterday. IWM's right at the low of yesterday. Tech is taking a larger hit, and Bitcoin has fallen from grace. It was at 124,000 all the way down to 119 as of now. I should clarify, before we get into this, this is not a guaranteed bearish sell-off. I should be very, very clear about this. We've live streamed together examples of really good reports that get faded all day. We've live streamed examples of really bad reports that recover all day. There's nothing set in stone here. There's no such thing as a guaranteed done deal. Of course, we've seen other ones where it's a good report and we keep going. We've seen a bad report and it keeps going. I'm just saying that if you are having this like emotional knee-jerk response of like, nope, we gotta switch bearish now and just pound it, it's a guaranteed thing. It is not. Of course, it could happen. There's a non-0% chance, but also remember, there's a non-0% chance that we actually recover, go all the way to a new all-time high. That's why I very much want to stress, don't let emotions lead the way. Pay attention to the market. Look at what the options flow is doing. Look at where the big guys are structured. Look at the gamma map. Where do we have support? Where do we have resistance? Let the actual incoming data guide your decisions. rather than you just seeing red and saying, oh, I gotta do this now. So just a little friendly neighborhood reminder. U.S. 2-year yield on the verge of the lowest level since May. Well, this was written a little bit too early because right now with the hot inflation, yields are obviously going to be going up, bond prices are going to be going down, and it's even going to have an impact on what in the world is the Fed going to do. So the market is now 99.8% confident that we're going to be getting a 25 bips rate cut in September. But if you watched the update video yesterday, which many of you didn't find my title to be funny, and it didn't make me cry at all in the shower last night, if you were wondering. But yeah, it was actually one of our worst videos in a while, like horrifically bad. So this is probably new information to a lot of you, but there was actually like about a 4 to 5% chance of a 50 bips rate cut in the September meeting. And the reason for that is recently the Treasury Secretary Bissett has been quote unquote highlighting models. He's not trying to pressure the Fed or anything, but he's been highlighting models that actually suggest a 50 bips rate cut might be the right move. But anyway, because of the hot inflation, those odds, even though they were small, are now basically zero. If you fast forward to the December meeting, there was a chance of a 100 bips rate cut. Like it was a small chance, and actually a 55 or 58% chance of 75 bips. So the odds are now kind of increasing for less cuts because of the inflation report that just came out, which also means it's taking the wind out of the sails of Bitcoin. We hit a new all-time high later last night. Bitcoin rises to record as investors snap up riskier assets. We were looking real good at one point right here. And look it, we just have a bearish engulfing candle now. We took out the high, we took out the low, we took out the low second, making the whole thing pretty sketchy, going from 124.5 all the way down to 117.7. There's probably a lot of leverage longs on these perp contracts that just got completely liquidated, probably blew out billions of dollars if I had to guess. And it was all because of this inflation report. Once again, is there a shot that we cover? Of course there is. Like, I mean, as much as rapidly as we went up, you can rapidly go down, but you could run it back, or it could end up just being absolutely horrific and we could break the support and we could keep vomiting. We could snap 160 and go all the way down to 111, 112, and then puke all the way to like 106. It's all in the cards today. And my big reminder to all of you is just let the data really tell you what to do. As of now, Bitcoin based on market cap, obviously massive gains. Percentage-wise, it looks like XRP. How do I actually switch it over to percentage? This is just the dollar amount, which is why Bitcoin's the biggest, followed by ETH, followed by BNB. Percentage-wise, there's other very good ones. XLM is up 329, HBAR 366. I don't really mess with those other ones. I find my life is far easier when it comes to crypto to just focus on Bitcoin. But obviously, I know many of you in here are playing some of the things you see on the screen. So if that happens to you, I hope you are crushing it. But obviously, last night with that push to 124 on Bitcoin, we did hit a new all-time high in terms of the total crypto market cap. Even now on this hit, we're still sitting above 4 trillion. Bitcoin currently worth about 2.3 trillion. And I like to bring this up every once in a while just because, remember, a lot of people are generically targeting that level of $10 trillion for Bitcoin as a certain like just overall value relative to gold. So that's what I keep bringing it up in terms of, okay, like theoretically, where could this grow? But once again, that's more like an investing type of a thing. With respect to investing, don't forget, we're still in earnings season. Granted, there's less and less popular ones. The last major one that people probably care about is NVIDIA, which is not next week. It's actually the week after. I believe it's like August 27th. For whatever reason, NVIDIA reports very late relative to all the other ones. So you might be trading some of these. You might be investing in some of the ones on the screen right now. Feel free to take a screenshot. I just want to remind you that even though we're technically in earnings season, it is very much calming down. And the last major one I would argue is NVIDIA in a week and a half. Cisco reports narrow earnings beat, issues inline forecast for the year, just for any of you guys playing that. Not necessarily earnings, but important nonetheless. Google faces loss of Chrome as Perplexity bid adds drama to looming breakup decision. Remember, Google is facing a metric buttload of lawsuits right now, most of which relate to, in one form or another, monopolistic practices or alleged antitrust issues. And right now, Perplexity is basically saying, hey, we'll buy Chrome, especially if the U.S. government believes it's too much of a Goliath. So that definitely does add to this craziness. With Google awaiting a decision on the future of its Chrome browser, Wall Street analysts have been breaking down the potential value for the company's key businesses. Estimates suggest that YouTube and Google's cloud unit are each worth hundreds of billions of dollars. Waymo was valued at $45 billion in a funding round in November, but some analysts say it's now worth multiples of that. So that's in the competition basically with the Tesla full self-driving and potentially the robo-taxi networks. So yeah, I mean, I'm no lawyer. I'm not going to cosplay as a lawyer. It'll be interesting to see how far the money will fall. Is it going to be nothing? Are their lawyers going to be better and they're going to keep going on with business? Or is the judge going to rip them a new one? Obviously, something worthwhile to pay attention to, because especially I know some of you in here are invested in Google. So definitely pay attention to it. Tesla eyes New York City for robo-taxis with test driver job postings. Speaking of Waymo and full self-driving, FSD, and then also just the robo-taxi network, it looks like Tesla kind of stepping it up. As Tesla looks to expand its autonomous taxi service, it is taking early steps to test its software in the country's most populous city. And if it could pull that off, what's the other one? From a technical standpoint, a lot of people argue, or a lot of like these scientists argue, engineers argue, that Pittsburgh is actually the most difficult to pull this off, just because of the road structure, and basically how crappy they are, that if a autonomous vehicle can pull off driving in Pittsburgh, it can pretty much pull it off everywhere in the world. So obviously New York, just a very, very large market and a complicated market from, like, once again, the science, math, STEM perspective. So it'll be interesting. I think it's just a matter of time before we legitimately have a robo-taxi network. Obviously it's probably going to be a little bit later than we all want it, but I am here for it because it seems like we're going to get it in our lifetime. Shares of bullish soar in New York Stock Exchange debut after the crypto exchange prices IPO above the expected range. So bullish, this is a crypto exchange right here, BLSH. And I don't know how many times I have to tell you guys to please avoid IPOs. This is how they go. It becomes like a hype thing. They get way too overpriced, and then there's all this FOMO, and it keeps going, and then all of a sudden people are left holding the bag. So this is just another one. Recently we saw it with Figma. That was probably the most recent one, and it's the same pattern time and time again. If you look very hard, you could probably find a counterexample of, like, no, it IPO'd and didn't do really anything too crazy and then started grinding up, and it was a good core business. I'm just saying that is a small outlier. Speaking generically of trying to get in on these IPOs, it's just not a winning game. It really is not a winning game. There's just too much hype, and by the time it hits the public market, the bankers and all the other rich people who got in way early, they're in at a price that it's not even trading at. Like, there's all this private market stuff going on beforehand. So generally, like Figma, I think it opened up double the price of where the bankers were in at. That literally retail, the average retail trader didn't have exposure to. So right now, I guess I'm just calling this out of just be careful. Please be careful on this. It just generally does not end well, especially for retail traders. Just give it some time to cook, let some data to build out, let some earnings, the quarterly earnings come out. Like, you could just be patient with it. You don't have to rush anything. There's other things to trade, trust me. If you haven't already, sign up for the newsletter. It's 100% free. Generally, the best thing you could do is the cheat sheet for earnings, the cheat sheet for all the major macroeconomic events. I should let you know at 10 a.m. today, we're going to be getting that's tomorrow. Today, we're pretty much done. We got the PPI numbers that were horrible, and the initial jobless claims, they were actually pretty decent. Tomorrow, we get retail sales at 8:30 in the morning, and then to really wrap up the week, we're going to be getting the consumer sentiment numbers at 10 a.m. Once again, that is for tomorrow. And then probably the most useful part is all the seasonality. Today and tomorrow both favor the bulls. Tomorrow is technically, from a seasonal perspective, more bullish than today is, but nonetheless, both still do favor the bulls. And based on how things are going this morning, I would not at all be upset if we had some amazing turnaround. I would not be upset about that whatsoever. But things are not looking so good. They are not. All right, let me go back to the larger picture. So right now, we are scheduled to open at 6440. 6440 is pretty much just below the low of yesterday, pretty much at the high of Tuesday. So even though in the short-term trading, things are looking brutal right now, in the larger picture, we're literally like just below the all-time high. So I think sometimes a lot of these emotional responses is really directly correlated with people being like way too zoomed in. Like what we were all stoked about on Tuesday, where we pushed to a new high and closed there, that's where we're at now. And you see how the emotions have switched, and like we're literally just 2 days removed from that. So literally as stoked and excited as we were all on Tuesday, huge rip, close, awesome. Skip Wednesday, fast forward to Thursday, we're back at that level. And now everyone's like, oh, this sucks. Like, geez, like it's so bearish. Like, so I think sometimes it's very, very dependent and very, very correlated with how zoomed in you are. If you're looking at the daily chart, you're like, wow, that's pretty good. If you're looking at the 1 minute chart, you're like, wow, that's pretty bad. So I think once in a while, like just take a breather, zoom out, and you're going to realize that things aren't as dire as they seem. That is also generically true on the NDX, the NASDAQ, Bitcoin. That one, granted, is a little bit more brutal. We did push to a high, and then we got knocked all the way back down into this chop zone. So that one's a little bit more brutal. Apple's looking good after this long-ass consolidation. It's attempting to hold its breakout. Meta, I'm getting clocked on that one. I was hoping for it to go to 800, but pre-market 773. That's brutal. Netflix is actually holding steady. Broadcom had, after hitting an all-time high, it bled off, and pre-market is a little bit worse. Palantir, same thing. It's this situation where a lot of things push to a new all-time high, and we're now seeing some weakness. And the question is the weakness going to be building up momentum, and we're going to continue to slide? Or are buyers going to step in today, tomorrow, and buy this dip because we're at those highs and they think it's going to be continuing? So as I go through this, you can see on the daily chart, that's pretty much the major MO, is like we were at highs, and now like even this BITX went up to 68 and got smacked down to the mid 62s. Like it's just a patience play. It very, very, very much is a patience play at this point. Here are the key levels of the day, in my humble opinion. As I always do, I mark out the previous high, low, and close. So the green, the red, and the white are the high, the low, the close. The white box is the transition zone, and the yellow horizontal lines are the major open interest levels. Like yesterday, when I was screaming from the rooftop, be careful about going long before we get the downside gap fill. Now the inverse is true. If we were to open up right now, is there technically a gap? It looks we're right at the low. So oh, no. Technically, we're not. The low yesterday was 6,445 right here. If we were to open right now, it would be at 6,440, as in, yeah, you have that shot for the upside gap fill. The upside gap fill. So it's literally the inverse of yesterday, that if you want to be bearish and short, you might want to at minimum wait to see if this is taken out, and then from there, what happens if it pushes and recaptures 50 and then also pushes up to 66. Right here, for the past couple days when I've like started this off with you folks, I've basically been like, nope, I'm bullish. I'm only looking for bullish opportunities. With that PPI report, I'm now in more of a pause, neutral, non-biased direction. I'm hopeful that we have a recovery just because of the 6 figures of calls that I have. So I want it to go back up. If I had a magic wand and could make something happen, that's exactly what I would do. But from a math empirical data standpoint, especially after that report, this is more of like a pause day in my book, just a chill and like wait and see how things play out. I also want to let you know that Captain Condor is back right here. Captain Condor, there's a call credit spread at 6490, and there's a put credit spread at 6440. So Captain Condor is back in this 50-point region, and it's all like the south side, the put credit spread side is already being tested. The fact that this player or this group of players decided to do this on a PPI report day, it seems insanely stupid to me, but hey, it's not my money. All right, speaking of money and my money, you can see I'm born again. I've redone it. I finally got off of Rhythmic. These are all now Trade Evade accounts. So that bug that you guys were seeing, ideally it is non-existent. And because I don't have to write code to fix that potential bug, things should run more smoothly. So I blew out those Rhythmic accounts, went over to Trade Evade. Now that there's not that weird data phantom position, I was able to update my code, and now everything should be a little bit more smooth. Let's see how it is. This is day one. I did do a little bit of back testing in like historic data, but obviously There's nothing like the real McCoy. There's nothing like running it actually. All right, these are all enabled. I also switched to the 150 accounts, 150K instead of the 50. So I have the 5 on Take Profit, I have the 5 on Tradeify, and I have the 20 on Apex. So I'm trading 30 accounts and 5 different sim accounts, and I'm just using these for testing purposes so I could collect data. So there are 5 sim accounts, 5 Take Profit, 5 Tradeify, and 20 Apex, all starting.
Order submitted.
And we're already trading.
Target
trading.
Filled.
And for some reason, that didn't fucking work. No. So the copier, is that how this one is enabled and disabled every day? All right, so we missed the first trade today, but that's all right. There's going to be ideally a lot more trades. I didn't realize that every time I open a new tab that okay. That's just a learning lesson on me. So the code fired right here, $100, $100, $100. It just was not duplicated. So whatever, that's fine. That was a learning lesson, because what I did was I set up a trade copier for all the different firms. So there's a lead account, and then one of the copiers is perpetuating that trade to the other ones in that account. And right there, I was able to
submitted.
Fix it.
Order filled.
Okay, so that one worked. But why did this one not fire? This sim account right here that I want to use to track stuff. Why? And it's on too. So this one didn't fire. That's interesting. Sim Scout, it's by itself too. See, no trade. That's interesting. Once again, that one's just a sim account, like complete sim account. I just was using it for testing purposes. Huh. Interesting. All right, so I need to figure out why this one didn't fire, especially because it is, in fact, enabled. Edit strategy.
Order filled.
Oh, that's why. Second. 1, 2. Okay, so I fixed that for tomorrow. All right, how many have already run today? 3. We're already on our 3rd trade of the day. It took a long, it took a short, it took a long. All right, so far, looking pretty good. The one issue thus far of the day was I just didn't properly have the copier enabled, so the trades didn't perpetuate. But other than that, in terms of like, is the code working? Am I making money? Is it seemingly doing what it should be doing? Yeah, thus far, up anywhere from 300 to 500 per account. We're looking somewhat decent. There's some pros and cons that I want to talk about with all of you guys on this, of like how I decided to do it. So obviously my knee-jerk degenerate idea is to, like just try to punt it over the line to pass the test so you could start trading for real money. And of course I want to do that. Like everything in my being tells me, yeah, that's exactly what you should be doing. But remember, it's a whole new code base now because I was able to remove that janky code I had for the previous fix. So as much as I had like that internal drive to be like, nah, like whatever, save yourself time, because like when you're trading on a 150K account, you don't need 3K in profit to pass the test. You need 9K. It scales up from 50, and unfortunately, your risk doesn't scale up. Your risk doesn't go from 2.5 to 7.5. It only goes up to 5. So really, from a risk perspective, you have to treat it like a 100K account. But from a reward perspective, you have to treat it like a 150K account, which means that I have a long way to go to be able to pass this test. I need to make 9K on every account. And you can see that I'm already up to 3. And that's because yesterday I kind of went on till after losing those accounts and I just started manually trading a lot. Like I was just slinging 10 contract positions like it was nothing. So that's why I started off the day already in the 2s somewhere. But really this is what you're seeing right now is day 1 of me ideally seeing if my system is up to par and doing what it should be doing. So they're going to be lagged behind by 1 trade, but I think it already made up for it because of slippage. So even though it skipped the 1 trade, oddly enough, that lead account, which has taken 1 more trade than all the other ones, is less than the others because of the slippage. I made more money on slippage. So it kind of fixed itself anyway, honestly. I can't even, like, it quote unquote failed successfully. This one was the lead account, 300. These other ones weren't traded, but then yet they have more of a gain because of slippage on the second trade. So like it failed successfully. It definitely failed successfully on that one. All right, lessons learned on my side of things to check for before shit really gets going on the day. Lessons learned. All right, and we're getting a little bit of a pop. Are we getting that upside gap fill? Remember, Captain Condor is in play. Definitely write down those positions. It is at 6,440 and then also 6,490. It's this 50-point region. You know what I'll do is I'll make another block just so you guys know. All right, there. We'll drag this one out, and just so it's not confusing and also not so messy, here we'll make the border pink or some shit like that. Okay, so that is the Captain Condor play right there. It is the upper bounds are 6,490 and the lower bounds are 6,440. The call credit spread is up here. The put credit spread is down here. As of right now, it is a 10,000 contract position, but obviously there's 4 separate legs. You have the long call, the short call, the long put, and the short put as well. So it's a 4 contract play. It's 2 legs each. Call credit spread and a put credit spread. You put a call and a put credit spread together, and that becomes an iron condor. So that's why we call him Captain Condor. And in all reality, I did not come up with the name. That was actually, I think, named by the team over at Spot Gamma when they first started noticing the play. Also, one thing I should stress about that play: it is not a professional player. It is actually a Discord with the people who just blindly follow the guy in there telling them what to do. And it just so happens that some of the people in that Discord have a lot of money. The jury is out on if that Discord is profitable. There's been instances that we've seen them make miraculous wins without a doubt, but then we've also seen a couple series of them like completely blowing out. So in terms of like the weight that you should give this position of like, what does this player know? Please take it with a grain of salt. What I think is more interesting is really related to the fact of how it changes how the market makers have to hedge out their book throughout the day. It's more interesting from a market maker book perspective than anything else, at least the way that I look at it. In terms of like, should we just be copying them? I would say no. I would say just to blindly copy that feels like it's going to be uniquely dangerous. Uniquely dangerous. All right. So what are we saying? Netflix is green. Netflix doesn't mind buying the dip. I'll take the wins where we can find them. Netflix is green on the day. Apple is green on the day. Avago, a little bit of a bounce back there. All right. So some people are using this opportunity to buy the dip. Here's a look at options flow. Here's a look at options flow. So granted, please understand we're only 7 minutes into the day, so this is not the end all be all. Not the end all be all. Yeah, Mag 7, it was a little up, more so down, then recovered. The SPY, little down, then recovered. So not a strong trend thus far. We already went over the map. Obviously, we could check in on that. I should also let you know, whenever I do the Spot Gamma stuff, when I'm looking at the flow or checking the equity hub or the trace, it's all on Spot Gamma. This is the best tool for options analytics. If you want 80% off, check it out. It's pinned to the top of chat. It's in the description of the video. My mod will put it in chat. But Spot Gamma, we are the only community on God's green earth that they offer this deal to, an 80% off deal. No one else gets this deal. It's because of how much you guys like them, and it's how much they like us, and really our support for them as a platform. We are the only community that gets this deal. It's in the description of the video. Check it out. But if you want to do the exact same analytics that I do, and really it's the tool that I use to get all these levels. I mean, you guys see me, this is too thick. All right, we're going to make it look like that. I think that looks a little bit better. All these levels that I give you guys every single morning, it's all coming from Spot Gamma. Every single level, all those metrics, where I decide to get in, get out. It's truly an invaluable tool. Truly, truly invaluable. All right, so we opened up actually with no upside gap fill on SPX. By the time we actually opened, we were right above the low from yesterday with respect to SPX. We sold off a little bit, found support at the Captain Condor level within the transition zone. Got a bit of a bid, trying to break out of the transition zone. What I would love to see is support found right here, either at 49 or 45. Once again, 50 right here, 49, 50. Big open interest level. 45 is yesterday's low. So somewhere in this region, this is an important technical, open interest, and options level. I would love to see a higher low be built right here, and then basically we build off of it. I want to see a little bit of selling. That's just your normal panic after a bad report. Then 4 minutes into the day, we popped. I want to see this continuation of higher highs and higher lows. By definition, that is a bullish trend for whatever time frame you're on. I happen to be on the 1 minute chart, but you could apply that logic to whatever time frame you care about. I'm looking for the higher highs and higher lows. I would love for the higher low to be put in right here, and then I want to see a push and a test of the red to green move at 6466.59. That's where we closed out yesterday. That's the test that I want to see. Once again, 6466.59. But first, for that to happen, we need to see a higher low being built here. Mag 7 is going flat. NASDAQ not really trending, and then the S&P 500 pop, maybe giving a little bit of it back right now. Avago is getting a bit of a pump. Bitcoin did not hold 118, unfortunately. Fuck, dude. I'm afraid to look at my calls. I don't want to do it yet until I see things bounce back a little bit. You're going to trade on Vanquish today? Maybe. If I see an opportunity. If the market gives me the opportunity, I'm not one to say no. I very, very much need. Come on, listen. I don't want to look at my long term or my swing account right now because I know it's going to be down like 40-50K, and it's going to make me want to like punch the wall. So when in doubt, just don't pay attention. Bitcoin, chill out, dog. Chill out. All right, is this the higher low that I was talking about? Right in between this zone, almost as if these levels are important. It might be. Is this our higher low? So on this one, you could say now we officially have a higher low, and then the new trend is confirmed.
Order filled.
Ooh, what happened there? Cool. Already locked it in. And then that one worked. Okay. So I wouldn't say anything broke yet today, but it's also not an absolutely perfect day. One of the sim accounts that what I'm doing here is I'm testing all the strategies individually. I just figure it's a better way to collect data moving forward rather than applying all the strategies to individual accounts. This allows me to have more of a refined insight to how things play out on each individual strategy rather than putting all the strategies on one account and some of the data is getting mixed. So that's what Sim Tower, Sim Scout, Sim Mini, Sim IBX, and Sim Delta, these are all the strategies I'm running, and some of these can run multiple times throughout a day. So I'm testing them individually. These are not sim funded accounts. They're just legit sim accounts, paper accounts. They're nothing more, they're nothing less. So that's what all the sims are about. And then obviously I'm running them all individually, like together on these actual sim funded accounts. And right now the lead account is up 400, but due to slippage, I'm up 650, 120, 120, 120. There's no slippage on those. The Tradeify accounts, 680, 680, 630, 660. One is at 387. That's quite a bit of a divergence there. And then on the Apex accounts, anywhere from 430 all the way up to 682, 700. So we're seeing some slippage. So I'm seeing everywhere running the same strategies at the same times, anywhere from 430 up to 700. So there's about, a $275 delta already. But how that was TL. I think 2 more strategies are going to fire today. I believe. All right. We're going to disable that. All right. We're just keeping the honest people honest. I want to be able to monitor these as I should. Okay. So we're looking somewhat decent there. I'm looking in terms of price right now. Now we're getting stuck into a little bit of, if this breaks down, we're fighting because, like I said, we got that higher low, but we didn't get the higher high. So the trend wasn't confirmed quite yet. It's more of like we had the opportunity to do it. In my book, the way I look at the market, and I'm not saying this is right or wrong, I'm just letting you know this is literally how I decide to look at it. To have a trend, you need at least 2 data points. So right here, when we could say, okay, we have a higher low at 941 compared to 934. Okay, that's half of it. but what about the higher high? So this is more of like, oh, we have the potential for this trend. And then for that to be true, you need this higher low to hold. And then you need to see that fresh higher high, as in currently taking out the intraday high. So it's more of a two-step process of how I like to define trend. But once again, that's just me. You should obviously do it however you see fit, especially if it's already making you money. If you're making money and you're not doing it the way I'm doing it, don't think you have to copy me. Don't think you have to learn from me. If you're making them dollar bills, like, don't let me get in the way. All right, a little bit of a pop here. We might be seeing that higher high here on the NASDAQ pretty soon. What time is it? It's 9:44. We don't have a 10 a.m. announcement today. That's tomorrow. The Mag 7 just got a pop. The SPY is going flat. What are the big guys doing? The big guys are not doing shit today. They did buy all day tomorrow. So you know how sometimes you see it on the internet of everyone's like, oh, like someone always knows. I'm going to be the first one to tell you the big guys in aggregate, of course, maybe some people had the leaked information, but I'm saying in aggregate, the big guys were buying all day yesterday. They look at this. They bought in the morning, paused during lunch, and then ripped it into close. They did not expect this PPI to be so far off. Once again, in aggregate, of course, there might be individual players who know maybe something they shouldn't. But in the general Wall Street big player sense, they were buying that whole time. They were just buying. I'm a little bummed out. None of you guys have asked me, but yes, your boy did get a whoop. And my idea with doing this is I want to start screening my blood pressure and pulse to all of you guys. But for any of you who are now whoopers with me, you know that it takes 1 to 2 to 3 weeks for it to start properly collecting and comparing your data. It just needs to build out the data set on you. So we have something cooking in the background. Folks, of maybe a fun way to improve the show. My strain levels are they've been going up since market open. What the fuck? Well, that can't be good. Day one and my strain's already fucking up. My strain level is medium. Jesus. Your stress score. Your stress score quantifies your body's current stress level. Acute stress isn't inherently good or bad. Low stress can help you relax, while high stress can boost your performance. Monitor your stress. Try breathing exercises. Oh, that's the secret. I just needed to breathe this whole time. Folks, you can't see it that well, but ever since I started talking to you guys, my stress levels are starting to go up. We're getting a bullish confirmation on thick Kohrs' stress levels. Higher highs, higher lows for sure. Unfortunately, it is good that the market is currently getting higher highs and higher lows, but it's sad for me to report that my stress levels are also getting higher highs and higher lows. Fuck. What's my blood pressure at right now? I don't know how to really use the app that well. I'll figure it out. My heart rate's 70. I feel like that's fine. I'm standing 2 cups of coffee. I'm losing a fuckload of money. I feel like 70 is a good one. What else can I see? That's about it for right now. It just needs to collect more data. But anyway, it looks like we might be breaking free to test the red to green move. So no gap fill today. We started right on top of the low. We overshot it. We found a bit of support. We got back on top of the transition zone from a gamma and delta perspective, looking at the 0 DTs. We dipped into it. We found support between the low from yesterday, important technical level, and then 6450, important open interest level. We are officially building out with higher highs and higher lows. The question is, will this trend, will the follow through be strong enough to give us that test of 6466, yesterday's closing value, which is just a natural target for the market. Very much natural. Whoop doesn't take your blood pressure without a cuff. It looked like I could base it somehow, and there is something about blood pressure in here for sure. But it looks like the first one I have to do is the cuff, and then from there it creates like a baseline or some shit. Something like that. I don't know. All my stuff says trends coming soon, so we just got to wait. We just got to wait on that one. All right, the SPY options are picking up. The Mag 7 options are somewhat picking up. NASDAQ is really picking up. Tesla, no. NVIDIA, yes, picking up. Palantir, somewhat. Microsoft, no. Apple, no. Netflix was and now flat. MicroStrategy, no. Meta, kinda. Avago, yes. AMD, yes. Robinhood, no. Quick little Delta breakdown for y'all. Quick little Delta breakdown. What time is it? What time is it? What time is it? All right, Bitcoin. I come on. It's sad that I'm saying I'll even take 119 right now when I should be like, yo, what about 123, 124? The Qs are almost back to green on the day. They've almost absorbed this entire hit. This is exactly why I told you guys before the market opened to not panic. Don't let emotions drive your decisions. Let the data tell you what to do. And thus far, the data is saying, hey, the bulls are attempting to buy the dip. Will it be official? I don't know. I can tell you the
Order submitted.
Oh, we're live.
Order target filled.
Oh, that was too quick. All right, we're looking good. 770, 770, 770, 500. That one's traded twice today. Interesting. That is right, technically. That is correct. All right. Well, we're making money. We're making money. The take profits, 500. The other four are up 770. The tradeifys are up 800, 800, 750, 775, and then 500. And then the apexes are anywhere from 810 down to 538. So thus far, we're looking decent. You have to give it cuff measure a few times, then it uses an algo based off things it can read. Yeah, so it looks like I have to do it a couple times. Like I said, I just looked this up today, so I'm by no means an expert. It sounds like you know more than I do, but it did say something about you have to do the initial reads with an actual cuff. So I'll do it. I'll let you guys know my health. I do want to lose some weight. I've been kind of a fat fuck lately, and it makes me want to unalive myself. That's a joke, YouTube. YouTube, I swear to God, if the YouTube overlords kill me for that one, they kill this stream because I said I want to. It's a joke. It's a joke. Joke. Don't freak out, YouTube. And I'm not talking to the YouTube viewers. I'm talking to the YouTube algorithm. It's a joke. We have free speech in this country. All right, so how many... It could either, I think it can trade 2 more times today. 2 more times. That wouldn't be a bad first day. $1,000 per account. That wouldn't be bad. That's a good way to get started. We haven't seen any coding issues thus far today. Oh, NASDAQ back green. Officially back in the green there, Tonto. And we even have Bitcoin maybe trying to push 119,000. All right, we're trying to recover. Netflix is up. Meta, bro. I need Meta to like get its fucking life together. Oh, I really do. I need a the way this morning everything looked horrifically shitty. And the Captain Condor players down here were like, no, our put credit spread's going to get blown out. I hope their call credit spread is blown out. That's what I want to happen today. The PPI report came in hot. We said, hang on, maybe people are overreacting. Why did it bounce here? It bounced here because of the gamma levels. And that group, they were probably sweating it. They're like, fuck, we're going to get blown out. And in their mind, they're probably worried about the put side. I hope within an hour, they're worried about the call side. And they're like, oh, fuck, dude. We were all worried about puts and we were praying it would go up. We prayed too hard and now we're going to get blown out on the call side. That's what I want to happen today. And thus far, well, I was about to say we're starting off nicely, but apparently we have some profit takers. Ooh, the Mag 7 just got clocked. Mag 7 is getting clocked in real time, folks. So is the SPY a little bit. What one is it? Is it Tesla? A little on Tesla. Is it NVIDIA? NVIDIA's taking a bit of a hit. Is it Microsoft? Not so much. Is it Apple? Apple's taking a pretty healthy hit. Meta? it looks like someone just sold the whole Mag 7 team. What'd they do? They dumped their calls for tomorrow. So basically, they said, okay, this was enough. It was a rejection right at the red to green. Hopefully we can recover off of this. It looks, just looking at the metrics that we have here, it looks like it was a scaredy pants getting out of their position, saying, okay, we bounced enough, time to get out. So now that we got the riffraff out of here, hopefully we can actually recover. So yeah, it looks like someone they literally just decided to sell as the NASDAQ went from red to green. If they didn't do that, we probably would have had a better shot of kept going, but looks like someone wanted out of their short-term call position expiring tomorrow, which I guess they can do what they want to do. Technically, it could have been a sell to open for tomorrow, but I kind of doubt it. We'd have to double check that with the open interest just to make sure, but I doubt it. I doubt it. Come on, let's not take out these lows. We are officially seeing higher highs and higher lows still. The NASDAQ is doing a little bit better. This was a little bit dramatic here, if you ask me, at 953, 954. But we've seen worse. We've been through worse. The 5-minute is attempting to go bullish. The 10-minute was testing. The 30-minute was also testing. The 5-minute is bullish. The 10-minute's testing. The 30-minute is testing. So with respect to momentum, the 4 hours bullish on both, and 30 minutes testing on both, and the 5 and the 10 are both attempting to transition back from this pretty horrific sell-off. Taking a step back, though, in a general sense, this is the reaction zone. Let's do this. Let's do this. Let's do this. Okay. So I'm just going to do it on the 10-minute bar. This is the 10-minute bar from 8:30. I want to clarify that we're still in it, as in the market really hasn't accepted should we be breaking down or should we be breaking out. Once again, this is the reaction to the PPI report. This white box, we're still in it. Obviously, if we punch above, that means that the market and the participants are saying, hey, the people who reacted to the 8:30 report, they were wrong and we should actually be higher. Now, obviously, if we break to the south side, that's the larger market saying, actually, no, they were right, and things are worse than they were. So I would say watch this bar. I'm looking at the 10-minute, just kind of that extreme high and low, and we're still in the range on the S&P 500, the NASDAQ. The NASDAQ was close to breaking out, but it got rejected right at the top, which happened to be right when the Qs went from red to green. So I'm hoping we just build out on another higher low here. I'm hoping that the delta on the Mag 7 stops getting curb stomped. The SPY delta even got curb stomped there. The large players are doing nothing. There's baby sellers today thus far, but not by much. Patience. How are your swing positions looking now? Not good, dude. Was that a real question? You're saying with a giant gap down in the market, you're asking me how my positions are looking when you know I'm in calls? What a fucking stupid question. Not hot. Down a lot of fucking money, dude. That's so silly. You by basic math understand I'm down a lot, and you're like, well, how are they? Are they good or not? What a stupid fucking question. Oh, why don't you ask how they look when the markets gap up and I'm up a shitload of money? I swear, sometimes people just don't think at all. No neurons are firing when they ask questions. Just nothing. They're just dumbass fucking questions. You know what? Based on that, LML came up a good bit. Just trying to see. Dude, dumb fucking question. I want to talk about it. How about you ask me that again? Ask me again when the top side of Captain Condor is getting tested today. When we're at 6,490 and we're talking about the call credit spread of Captain Condor getting blown out, ask me then. That's when I want. That's when I'll be happy to answer that question. Ask me when we're all the way back up there. Ask me when Bitcoin recovers to 122. Those are the times I'll be willing to take those questions, as long as I don't get out of my current position. If I get out of my current position and switch it and go the other way, and then we pop back up there, that's also then the incorrect time to ask me how they're going. So basically, if as a chat you could assist me of only asking about my positions when you know I'm deeply in the green, it'll help keep my blood pressure and other vital levels within an acceptable bound. That would be great. That would be swell, guys. That would be real swell. Swell of you. We are seeing some green. Some things are attempting to fight back. All right, the Q's, higher highs, higher lows. It's going for another red to green test, and then the SPY's not that far away from its red to green test. On SPY, it's at 644.89, and on SPX, it's at 6466. So that's the next major thing. I just want to see this continuation of higher highs, higher lows. If you took this trade at 958, that's a pretty good trade. Side note, for my day traders, for my scalp traders, obviously the trend was up. The EMA's trying to go bullish, a pullback. We bounced off a key level. You could have gone long on this breakout, risking the recent low. You're trading with trend, obvious target, obvious risk, solid trade. Obviously, I didn't take it. I've been doing other stuff today. But if you took this trade right here, this breakout bar at 958, risking that low, targeting that high, and even on a new intraday high, when we take out this 953 high, when you do that, you could move your stop to break even, and then it's literally a free play. It's a lotto ticket play. That's a pretty solid trade right there. Pretty solid trade right there. If you ended up, did anyone take that? I feel like at least one person in here had to take that trade from the amount of times that we've talked about those setups. Like, that's a pretty evident setup. Anyone take it? Yes, no, maybe so. As long as you wear that gadget, people are going to want to stroke you out. Well, joke's on them. I want to stroke myself out. Joke's on them. I want to stroke myself. Oh, you set me up for failure on that one. I did. I took it. Does the whoop measure fear? I think so. It did. I'm in on it. I did. Yes. Well, I like it. I like that trade. Maybe I should get ready on Vanquish. Oh, maybe I should wait till past 10 a.m. My Vanquish, I don't love that, though. I do like that. I'm not in love with that. The big guys aren't buying that much quite yet. Oh, how do I want to do this? How do I want to do it? How do I want to do it? I should at least get ready. That feels like a good starting point. Prepare. Mentally prepare. Feels like that's a good starting point. Mentally prepare. Limit price. No, we're not doing a limit. Limits are for babies. Limits are for babies. Is this ever going to pick up here? What time is it? It's 10:03 now. Remember, for the past week or two, we've seen some weird stuff going down right at 10 a.m. So I just want to call that out. Maybe today the weird stuff will help us. Maybe the weird stuff will hurt us. You never really know. You never really know. All right, I got to fill at 7:10. Oh, that means we should get out at 8:10. All right, order is in. I'm in at 7:10 for 10 of them. I'm trying to drop them all at 8:10. So $100 on 10 contracts to make about $1,000. That is the goal. And really what I want to see is the follow through the intraday high. Did it already? Nope, not yet. I want to basically just see a retest of this intraday high, which we almost got to right there. The NASDAQ, not as much follow through as the SPY right there for some weird reason. And I also have up 2 Netflixes for an unexplainable reason, I suppose. The MAG 7 is kind of flat. The SPY just got a bit of a spike. It was put selling and call buying. Remember, Spot Gamma, 80% off. The link's in the description of the video. We are the only community that they offer this deal to, so check that out. Oh, what's going on with Bookmap? A lot of buyers, according to Bookmap, down here at 23922 and 21 and 20. So somewhere in this 2-point region, we have a lot of sitting buy orders, which are being tested now. Oh, bounce right back up to the point of control. This yellow kind of solid that goes into a dash line is the POC, the point of control. If you've never heard that term before, the POC is the highest volume traded like tick of the day or price point of the day, as in most of the volume transactions have gone through at that particular price level. So generically, it's thought to be bullish above, bearish below. Same generic argument also with the volume weighted average price. They are two separate things. Obviously, they're two separate things. So good to know where they're both at. And honestly, I don't even know where the VWAP. Oh, VWAP's all the way down here. So VWAP is down just below 23,900. It's all the way down here. And then the point of control is 2930. So about a 30 plus point differential. A lot of buyers right here at 20 though. That's what this red's all about. Sitting buy orders, a lot of passive sitting buy orders. So let's see if it can hold that support, break out of the point of control and make a push up to just above 50. That's what I'm looking for. A push right up to 50, 51, something like that. Is that the trading session high? Yeah, pretty much. So where all these sell orders, they're basically slightly front running the current intraday high, which seemed to be closer to 55, 58, some shit like that. So yeah, sitting buy orders targeting just below this high. And then you have sitting, oh, those are sitting sell orders, excuse me, that's on top. While the sitting buy orders literally just got filled. Those ones I was showing you at 20 right here, they're getting filled literally as we speak. Look at that. They were sitting, gotta fill, giant button, bounce right off of it, back up to that key level. It's crazy how that works. It is crazy. Absolutely fucking bonkers. And now my Chrome is frozen. Uh-oh. Is my whole computer frozen? Can you guys hear me? Can you see me? I'm scared. Everything's frozen. Chrome is frozen. Shit. Does that mean my trading system is frozen? What time is it? Fuck. Wait, now that works. Wait, why does that work when I bring that back up? Am I here? Mom? Hello. Is this updating? Is it not updating? All right, this is now working. So I think you guys can hear me. Matt, we can hear you. It's all in your head. You know, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. Oh, all right. We still have higher lows on the Qs, but this might be a lower high. So we might now kind of be in a bit of a consolidation pattern. Same thing on Netflix, same thing on Avago. SPY's looking good. SPY looks like it wants to test this intraday high of roughly 61. I want to see the push up to 66, and that's what I'm really interested in this morning, to see the test from red to green. Does the market want to be up on the day, down on the day? What are all the voting members doing? I don't think I got my fill, unfortunately. This trade is still pending, and I'm actually down a little bit right now. I'm surprised this little pump right here wasn't enough. It must have been close, but I think I do need that follow through probably to 62 to get my fill. Mag 7 is taking a hit. I don't like that. SPY is going flat. These are not necessarily bringing me joy at the moment. The Mag 7 is definitely not. The NASDAQ, it's not like the flow. The flow currently, oh, did I get my fill? Nope, halfway there. The glass is half empty, half full. Well, now it's actually 70% empty. Now it's 60% empty. But it's also 45% full, 40% full, 40%, 45%. Oh, it's only 25% full. It's only 20% full. It's 20% full. Now it's not at all. Actually, there's no liquid in my cup. It's 100% empty. It's crazy. It's crazy how that works. I really thought that test was going to be enough for me to get my profit. That was my whole trade there. But this is what you get when you trade a non-linear product that has decay. and volatility and other non-linear aspects you have to consider. Fuck. I really just wanted to lock in that profit at that high. Oopsies. Thoughts on PayPal banning Steam? No thoughts. Didn't know they did it. I guess, is that like a big deal? Does anyone care about that? This is new news to me. And also, I believe you that it is news, but like, and is that a big deal? Like, am I out of the circle of things that matter and things that don't matter? No thoughts. And does anyone have thoughts on that? Like to the point of like, why does it matter? Bro, I hate trading options now. Futures have me spoiled. Greeks are historically gay. Yeah, that is historically accurate that Greeks are gay. Steam is kind of the biggest gaming platform in the world. Yeah, but by what metric? By revenue drivers for that particular like payment provider? Like, how are you defining biggest? I don't know. I'm not saying I'm a fan of PayPal. I'm not saying it's a smart or a stupid decision. I'm saying it's a decision that I didn't know anything about, and I don't think the world or the market like really cares. Unless, hey God, you know how all those like 12-year-old kids are gambling on CSGO, like weapon kits and skins? Is that paid for via PayPal? Because that would actually change my opinion. But isn't there like an epidemic of like 12-year-olds stealing their parents' credit cards to get the cases on CSGO? Because if that payment is handled via PayPal, I feel like the numbers actually could be large enough to impact the business. But other than that, I can't really come up with that much of an idea. Yes, some of you are saying it can be. All right. That's like, I would just look into how big that number is and like maybe from there, but I don't know. I don't really actively trade PayPal. Netflix is catching a bid. I like that. SPY made a new intraday high, no follow through. The Qs are just going sideways ever since this player took their money at 9.53. So it's been basically a bunch of nothing for a bit. Netflix attempting to save my account. Bitcoin attempting to blow my account up. All right, let's set up some alerts and whatnot. We need alerts. Breakout and breakdown alerts. We don't want to miss anything. Oh, clear lack of follow through on the NASDAQ ever since this dickhead got out of their position. All right, we might be losing our trend. Up until this point, we clearly had higher highs and higher lows. The Qs went from higher highs, higher lows to sideways consolidation to now potentially breaking down. Pretty much the same thing on the SPY. The Qs were looking stronger this morning because they went back green. The SPY didn't go green, but is actually right now holding a bit better. And I'm really not surprised because I keep showing you how the Mag 7 is just not looking that good. Generically, for us to keep going to the upside, this delta should be doing the opposite. And hey, things can switch on a moment's notice, as you saw at 8:30 this morning. But just right now, freeze frame, things have been pretty brutal since 9:53. Pretty brutal since 9:53. We're actually at a new delta low. We are at a new delta low. I'm down 850 on that position. I should have just, when I realized it was only glass half full when we were testing that high, I should have probably just manually closed it out. I probably could have, should have, would have. Probably could have, should have, would have. Come on. Let's rebound from here. Yeah, just bullish trend sideways. Maybe we can put in another higher low here. Let's look for this breakout above 58, a nice succession of higher lows that ideally, oh, this is interesting. So the SPY made a fresh high, but SPX actually didn't. SPX, technically that's a lower high. So we might be able to, like, it's a little bit of consolidation like we're seeing in the NASDAQ. Apple, Meta went back red. Fuck, dude. Meta. Thoughts on AI and unemployment over the next few years? AI, I think, is just going to get bigger and bigger and bigger, better, and more prolific. And unemployment, maybe a slight uptick. But remember, whenever there's a new technology, it also creates new jobs. I think a lot of people try to look at it in a vacuum of like, look at AI is going to replace XYZ. Yeah, it might. But then guess what? With any new technology, there's entire new work demands. And we've seen that historically. Like, you could have argued, I don't know, couple hundred years ago when they were creating cars and be like, well, what about the whole horse industry? What about all the carriage drivers? What about all the fucking wagon makers and that shit? But then guess what? With the advent of the car, it created a lot new jobs. So yeah, there might be a period where there's like a transition, but I think it's going to end up absorbing some jobs like any big technical advancement does, and then creating others. A slight uptick. AI is going to upend damn near everything. It depends, like, in what lens are you looking at it through? Like, for our day-to-day life, yeah, I agree with that. It's going to change a lot of our day-to-day life. But in terms of making the unemployment rate, like, catastrophically bad, I am not going to agree with that one, dog. Matt, you should buy XRP right now. Nope, not going to. I don't know, bro. I've talked to a lot of tech head over the years, and in high ranks, none of them are talking about creating jobs. So it's all about eliminating workforce because they don't need it. Okay, whatever. That's what they say all the time. That's what the fucking hot air balloon industry said before with planes, of like, they're just trying to get hot air balloons. Like, dude, you hear this time and time again. And every time it happens, everyone's like, no, you don't get it. This time's different. I get all those other examples, but that didn't happen because of XYZ. This happens all the time with giant cultural shifts, with giant job shifts, with giant markets. Like, everyone thinks that the environment they're in is like a special time, and it's not special. The tough reality of it is none of it's fucking special. Like, it's just nothing new under the sun. It's just another iteration. It's how this shit goes. It's just it is what it is. You, like, the best analogy is actually the stock market. Every time the stock market goes down 10, 15, 20%, everyone's like, no, I get it. Like, all the times I was told you should buy the dip, it made sense because of whatever reason. But this time is different. It's the worst we've ever seen, and we're never coming back. And then guess what fucking happens? We come back. Like, it's just how it goes. Y2K. 2020, 2012, yeah, the Mayan calendar, like all this shit. This time is different though. Yep, maybe. Maybe, in fact, it is. Maybe. Oh. Oh, I can't. Man, I love this trade. I'm not going to do it because I'm going to let the bots run. But if I were manually trading right now, I would love this breakout trade right here. 42.75. I would love that breakout trade. First target, intraday high. Second target, runner. Oh, I'd be in. All right. Hypothetical trade, I'm not taking it because my bots are still running and I don't want to fuck up my bots. But if I were manually trading, I'd be in right now. Let's say my fill is a tick higher at 943. So let's pretend I am, once again, I'm in at 943, targeting 60. So first target is 17 points. Second one would be a runner. And by the time the first one hits, I'd move my stop on the remainder to break even. So that's my hypothetical trade. I like it. Mag 7, a little bit of a pop. SPY, more of a pop. What else do we have? Big guys aren't doing shit. Yeah, this is more of just technical follow through. That's the play I would have taken if I were trading manually. In at 43, out at 60 on the first one, 17 points locked in. That is $340. And then I'd have a runner and I'd move my stop to break even and have a freebie play. Can't wait for AA to start its own Matt Kohrs show. Now that would be exciting. Dude, I can't wait for it either, because then finally I could fucking sleep in one of these days. That's what I'd do. This tech is different, though, because all of AI will improve itself. It's when things get exponentially disruptive. Yeah, Wait, what do you mean? This tech is different, though. All new tech is different because it's new tech. By definition, to be new tech, you have to be different. Duh. You're literally doing the same thing that, like, I'm almost mocking. I'm like, no, this time's different, though. This time's different. That's what they said when we, like, made the fucking atomic bomb. Like, this weapon's different. It could blow up our entire atmosphere. Yeah. To be new tech, a new weapon, a new anything, by definition, it has to be different because of that's what the word new means. It means does not exist. AI is a revolution, though. Sick. Sign me up. Did I make my money on Vanquish? Someone just brought up Vanquish. Hey, I did. $1,000 locked in. This is actually the best run I've had on Vanquish. And it's kind of funny because I feel like I've attacked it with a pretty lackadaisical attitude. But the way I'm doing sim defunded on my accounts here, that's obviously for trading futures. And just so you guys know, this deal is officially ending this week. The take profit trader 40% off, no activation fee, 100% of your initial tests refunded on your first withdrawal. That's a pretty sick deal. So anyway, 40% off, no activation fee, 100% of your initial test. So basically, you could go through this if you trade well, and it could cost you literally nothing. That deal is ending this week. Just make sure to use that code Goonie. It is pinned to the top of chat. So once again, this is for trading futures, and that's exactly what I'm doing on this screen right here. But if you would rather do it with options, that's what I use Vanquish for. And as you can see, I have a PA account, an actual performance account. It's no longer eval, and I'm looking pretty good. I'm up about 7K. I think I could take out a withdrawal. Dude, that's not a bad deal. Actually, I wonder what the highest, let me see if I can, I wonder, should I go for the record? What is the highest payout? What's the highest payout from Vanquish? Let me write an email quick. Maybe they'll get back to me. Let me find, is this the right email? I'm going to email my affiliate contact over there. I wonder what the highest one is, because I think I could take out 7K. I wonder if it's a record level. Matt, you mentioned on the earnings call from Rum that your current share short are closer to 31 million. Where are you seeing that number? No, that's the theoretical max. That's how many shares are out on loan. Remember, to take a legal, legitimate short, you first have to take the shares out on loan, and there's 31 million out on loan. So that's the max of how many could be short. And the best data source for that is called Ortex. I could show it to you. This is by far the best data source for shorts, like by far. I know some people try to use dumb shit like Fintel, but that's exactly what it is. It's dumb shit. So here's Rum. I'll just give you these numbers quick. All right, so as of market open today, there were 33.59 million shares out on loan. So that's the theoretical max, but just because it's out on loan doesn't mean they have to be short. Ortex is assuming from previous trading and from the real-time market info that about 18 of these 33 are actually legitimately short. So these are how many are these shares, 33.59, are how many are out on loan. You need to do that to take a legal, legitimate short. So this is the max, and you could run up to that. But based on recent trading patterns, Ortex is assuming that it's 18 of the 33. So about 54% of possible shorts are actually short. No. Where the fuck are you getting? Oh, from this to this. No, because the number could go higher. These are how many are out on loan. It could go way higher than that. Like, you could take another $1 million out on loan right now. So this is just like someone out there is currently paying this borrow fee, but it could go higher to the point of, I see what you're saying, but to clarify, that number's not stagnant. It can go up and it could go down. It could go up to free flow, a third, 100. It could actually go up to 100 roughly. There's 339 million shares outstanding. The free float is about 33%, so about 1/3. So that's about 110 million shares could theoretically go out on loan. But the cost to borrow would probably like spike up quite a bit there. So this one is just literally how many people are currently paying to rent those shares to be able to theoretically go short. This number can go up and down based on if people want to do it or not. The actual max of how many can go out on loan, well, technically it's infinite because of a process known as rehypothecation, where, okay, let's say I own the shares and I let someone loan them out for me. You take the loan from me, you go short. Those shares are now in the market. You sold them to the market to go short. The new owner, the person you sold them to, they can rent theirs out. So that's how you get over 100% short interest. So there's really no theoretical max, but what would be financially constraining is the cost to borrow would really skyrocket. It'd be referred to as hard to borrow, HTB, and then you'd see the cost to borrow get into the hundreds of percent. But from like just a pure mathematical like argument, there's no theoretical max. You are not maxed out at 100% short interest. You can keep going and keep going and keep going. I.e. synthetic Ponzi. Nope. It's not. It's just not how it works. I mean, we're kind of now getting into the weeds of market structure and the process and this and that and the other thing. But if you want to learn more about it, of why it can go above 100%, you're going to probably just want to search like short interest rehypothecation. That's the word that you want to look up, is called rehypothecation. And once again, it's because of a daisy chain effect. Someone loans shares out, they go short, they sell it to the market. There's a new owner, that owner rents their shares out. There's a new short, and like you just daisy chain and keep going and keep going and keep going. That's how it technically happens. But in that event, and we saw this with GameStop circa January and February of 21, when that starts to happen, because GameStop did legitimately have a short interest over 100%. I think it topped out at like 130, 140. The fee to do the borrow was hundreds of percent. And when you see that cost to borrow fee, remember that is not a daily rental fee. That is the annual rental fee. So if you held the short position, or not even the short, just if you had the shares out on loan for an entire year, that's the fee that you would pay. That is the fee you would pay. So the largest payout on Vanquish is 16.5 thousand. So I'm not even halfway there. I'm like just under halfway there. Just over halfway there. Netflix is looking good. Broadcom is now doing nothing. Apple gave up. Meta is fighting back. Palantir is fighting back. Microsoft is fighting back. Nvidia is fighting back. All right, so we have some things fighting back. I would love for Meta to go back up to 790. The Qs are currently in a vicious battle for the red to green dominance. Vicious battle. I'm hoping that the Bulls can win, because I have a lot of call positions on right now, and I still haven't checked them today because I'm too nervous too. I know I'm going to be down like 30, 40, 50 fucking K. But what's the point of that? How do they make money if they blow money to borrow shares to short a stock, which means they are selling the shares before the strike price? What? You're like confusing short selling with options trading. Short selling doesn't have strike prices. I don't know what. I think you have an inherent confusion. If I loan my shares to you, the fact that I'm loaning something to you, I'm not going to do it out of the goodness of my heart. You're going to pay me a rental fee. And then if I want them back, okay, cool. You pay me my fee and I get my shares back. I'm the owner. And that's how it works. And then that's how the daisy chain gets unwound is the original owner's like, hey, I want them back. So there are times at brokerages, even if the short's in the money, they can force them out just because the initial owner's like, no, I want my shares. You can do a share callback for sure. But I think you are deeply, deeply confused about what shorting is because you're bringing up strike prices. What's the point of how they make money? It's you, the initial owner, are making money for renting your shares out. Imagine this. Imagine I have a stair stepper and I am the fucking king stair stepper in the world. I can loan you the stair stepper. And I'm like, you know what? You could use my stair stepper, but you're going to pay me $10 a day. And you say, cool, great. You now have the stair stepper and are paying me $10 a day. You might be like, you know what? I'm going on vacation next week, but I still want the stair stepper. I'm going to loan it out to my buddy, Charlie. So now Charlie has the stair stepper and he's paying you $5 a day. So Charlie's paying you $5 a day while you're on vacation. You come back from vacation, you're like, yo, Charlie, I need my stair stepper back. So he stops paying you. He gives you the stair stepper back. You crush it, you crush it, you crush it. I decide I no longer want to be a fat fuck, the original owner. So then I say, hey, I need my stair stepper back. And this whole time, you've been paying me $10 a day while you were on vacation. Charlie was paying you $5 a day. And when I decide to no longer be fat, I ask for my stair stepper back. And you were collecting money at one point. I was collecting money at one point. Like, that's it. It's like, think about it in a real world example. Right, but if I borrow the shares, I pay X amount that I'm shorting the stock. The price goes down. How do I make money off of that? Because you sold something, you're selling it first. If you sell something at $100 and buy it back at $40, you sell it at $100, as in you have $100, but you have to buy it back because remember, you owe me my stair stepper. You buy it back at $40. Well, that means you have a net difference of $60. It's literally, okay, if you understand how you make money going long, you buy something at $100 and then you sell it at $102 with the difference of $2, just literally invert it. You start by selling and then you buy back at a cheaper price. You sell something at $100, you buy it back at 88 because you owe me my stair stepper. I demand a stair stepper. You sold it at $100 was yours. You buy it back at 88, you pocket the difference of $12. Literally, if you understand the concept of how you make money going long, just invert the whole process, and that's how you make money going short. So just make money from borrowing from people, letting others borrow it from me, and taking the difference. Got it. No, not at all. You don't got it. And I'm a little scared because you've been in here trading for quite a bit. And the fact that you don't get that, like, I actually find like deeply, deeply concerning. Just to even have the opportunity to sell something, you're selling something that is not yours. So you pay a rental fee on top of that. So not only does the thing have to drop for you to make money, it has to drop in excess of the rental fee for you to even be net ahead. And I am, like I said, that's not good. You've been in here for a bit, man. That's like not good. I think I'm done on the day. I think that was it. I think that trade right there, I think I'm done. Am I not done? Oh, wait. There might be one more trade. This one didn't fire because I just didn't turn it on, but it fired on the actual account. It just didn't fire on the sim account. This one fired twice. This one fired once. This one fired once. The second time of this one's not going to fire today. This one, IBX, the inner banks, not the outer banks of the Carolinas, the inner banks of the Carolinas, it might trade again. I'm not sure. It depends on the data. Should I just leave it on just in case? Just in case? I understand the concept, but have a problem with the idea that you can sell something you don't own. Why? You have to give it back. It's called loan. Have you ever done a loan ever in your life? Have you ever taken a car out on loan? It's literally just a loan. People get all fucking up in arms of like, oh, you shouldn't be able to short. Why? It's a free market. It's a free market. If you think something's going to go down, you should have the right to be able to express that opinion. It's your thoughts. It's your money. It's like, if you have that confident of a thought, if you're that confident in your analysis and your thesis, why? It's a free market. If you want to bet something's going down, great. Bet that it's going down. I don't give a shit. And no one else should. Obviously, it should be following all rules and regulations. I'm by no means supporting like naked shorting or manipulative shorting. But the way you might be confident that Netflix is going up and you have the legal regulatory right to express that opinion by buying Netflix and hoping to sell it higher, why not do it the other way? If you truly believe that it's going down, why not have the like legal regulatory right to express that opinion? You might be right. You might be wrong. Like, why? And actually, that's more of just a moral perspective. Like, you can't pitch a market that's like free and open to everyone, but then yet you can only take one direction. And then that's just like from the moral perspective. From the math perspective, they've actually done studies. There are certain markets you can't go short in. The ability to short has actually quantifiably made markets a higher price. Like, this is they've done, it's actually a really interesting research zone, but they've done this research. Markets that allow traders the ability to go short trade at a higher value. So just if you are, oddly enough, if you're a bullish person and you're a long-term investor or something like that, you should actually be thankful that you allow shorting, because the markets trade at an elevated value due to being able to go short. And then also, I had a third point. Morally, because of the ability to go short, there is a financial incentive for people to snuff out lying companies. Like, just piece of shit lying companies. Do you know how much fraud has been found by people who go short? Because they decide they're not doing that effort, that like high-end, almost journalistic-esque research out of the goodness of their heart. They're doing it because they know if they find a fraudulent company, they can make a lot of money off of it. So that's another reason of like, why do you think certain things like Enron got exposed? Why do you think certain things like Luckin Coffee got exposed? They are the white blood cells of the system, like searching out the cancer and the disease. So no, like, I am all for shorting if it's done in a legal, regulated, non-manipulative manner. If it's just someone trying to express that opinion, hey, have at it. Good for them. Maybe they're right. Maybe they're wrong. Like shorting AMC. Yeah, when they became evident that they were going to dilute it, that is a great trade. Shorts get rid of shitty, scammy companies, without a doubt. I think a lot of people who are like, oh, I'm against shorting, they haven't spent a second thinking about it. Like, really? They've read it once on Twitter or Reddit, and they're like, duh. Because like, there's this perception that shorts are going after like good, legitimate companies, and they're like taking them off the market. And like, has that happened? Yeah, it has happened. And that, like I said, I'm against like the manipulative, naked shorting bullshit. But a majority of these like short report firms, like, think about how much fraud Hindenburg Research has exposed to the world. That Adani Corp, that was like one of the big ones, like that Indian billionaire who was literally just lying about everything. Did you short FTX? No, FTX was never publicly traded. On PA accounts, what is the max profit you can have in one day? Theoretically, you can make as much money as you want, but you might also want to consider the 30% consistency rule. No individual trading day can account for more than 30% of your total profits when requesting a payout. I'm going to go short the Matt Kohrs show. If you did that from 2022 until now, you would have made a lot of money. Watching the Cephs build their cage by their own money is comedy gold. I don't even know what that means. So you find fraud, go short, and then publicize the fraud to profit. Yeah, people do that. Hindenburg exposed Nikola too. Trevor, what was his name? Trevor Milton. He was actually, oddly enough, pardoned by Trump, but it was a complete scam, a complete fraud. And Hindenburg research would have never done that if they didn't have a financial incentive to find out these players. Okay, I can see the pro argument for shorting, but I don't think it increases the debt problem. What the fuck are you trying to connect there, brother? But I still do think it increases the debt problem. You think that being able to short somehow increases our government deficit, thus adding to the debt? Okay. I don't know. How the fuck can I respond to that? You're talking about two different things. Like, that's as silly as fucking saying ever since the NBA instituted the three-point shot so the white guy has a chance, Lewis Hamilton is a 7-time world champion in F1. What the fuck are you talking about, dude? What? What? Just because I drank coffee today doesn't mean, like, fucking the meeting in Alaska with Zelensky and Putin and Trump's gonna go. Like, what fucking two things are you trying to connect, man? Oh, I swear, sometimes you guys, you're like intentionally trying to spike my fucking cortisol levels. Because the money is borrowed from the Fed. What the fuck are you smoking? You think the what? The money doesn't come from nowhere, except it does, but they charge interest on the made-up money. Dude, fucking you guys are so wrong. You think the money borrowed... First of all, it's not money borrowed. Shares are borrowed. Nothing about shorting has to do with the government. Fucking what? Oh my God, you guys are dumb. What a fucking stupid comment. That's so dumb. You have to be fucking with me. Like, you think that when someone borrows shares of Meta, they're going to the government? Naked shorting should be banned. It is banned. It's illegal. Wow. I hope some of you use protection, because you got to help out the gene pool. You got to snip the bud where you're at to help the rest of us. The money actually comes from Jesus. Maybe. Matt, TQ calls are safe to look at now. I'm still a little nervous. I appreciate that, but I have all those. I mean, especially the Bitcoin play is going to fuck me up. I'm afraid to look. Stop short selling to reduce our deficit. LOL. Yeah, wait, what was that guy's... Did that guy ever respond? Hey, whoever's in chat saying that shorting makes our government debt worse, but shares are often borrowed with lent money. No, they're not. That's like an... No brokerage is going to allow you to take out more shorts than you have money. Do you know how much risk that puts the brokerage at? They'll get blown the fuck out. Naked shorting is frowned upon, but let that slide. In most cases, it's illegal, but totally not enforced. It is enforced. Just go search naked shorting, like, cases. You're going to find a lot of people getting caught doing it. It's somewhat of an easy thing to spot, especially when, well, like, even that, we're going to be getting very much into the weeds of what is technically naked shorting, what isn't naked shorting. But does naked shorting happen? The answer is yes. Does it happen far, far less than the retail trading community assumes? Yes, it does. It is highly enforced, and, like, it's just easy to spot. It really is. And then the ones who get away with it are the ones who come up with, like, new creative ways. But even then, like, the practices are, like, dying out. Most of the time. Okay. So for something like, naked shorting on Rumble, like, the only time you're going to have naked shorting is if someone wants to break the law, They want to go short and they can't find shares to short. So for example, something like it would only really exclusively happen in the universe of hard to borrow stocks. Why would you do something illegal when you can just go get the shares anyway? Like very easily. So something like AMC, GME, like right now, go look at the cost to borrow. It's very low. Look at the utility or the utilization. It's way below 100. Those are easy to borrow. As in, like, you can go get as pretty much as many shares as you want. You don't have to break the law. FTDs, naked shorting is a type of FTD. There are other types of FTDs, but it's like one specific type. For example, like it's the whole squares are rectangles, but rectangles aren't squares type of a thing. But naked shorting is a type of FTD. Not all FTDs are naked shorting. And yeah, you could even see it there. A spike in FTDs. You can be like, okay, I want to look into it. And then if it's not a hard to borrow stock, it's probably not naked shorting because you could have easily just gotten those shares. People talk about naked shorting as if it's like a super easy thing to do, as if like hedge funds have a special brokerage that they just pull up and they're like, yep, naked short, as if there's some giant fucking naked short button. That's not how it works. Generally, how it works is a hedge fund calls up a prime broker. So the way you and I trade on a brokerage, they're going to call up prime brokers. A hedge fund, if they wanted to, would be like, fuck, I got a short Meta right now, blah, blah, blah. So most of the time, not most, I can't say this like in terms of I know the accuracy. It's not like the hedge fund calls up and says, I want to naked short. They say, I want a short. And then the brokerage, wanting to keep the business, says, okay, cool, you're good. And they like account it as if it's done. And then fucking the intern's like, oh shit, we actually don't have those shares. So they might mismarket this, that, the other thing, or they'll call up someone else and beg them to be able to like get their shares out on loan. But it's never as if like a hedge fund calls up and says, yes, I want to naked short. They just call and say, I want a short. And then it's kind of on the brokerage of whether it's a mismatched position or if they fucked up and allowed one. But even then, they'll just bust the trade and be like, actually, man, you never went short. And that's like, there's a really, really strange perception in the world of retail trading that it's just like somehow easy to like execute a naked short. But no one's ever thought about like, okay, like what would that actually involve? And what it involves is legitimately someone going short, but never getting the shares on loan. And I don't think the average retail trader even knows like conceptually how that would be pulled off. Right there. We're going green, folks. We're going green. All right. Like I said, I'm not going to be happy. You're allowed to ask me about my positions when the opposite side of Captain Condor is getting blown out, 6490. That's when you're allowed to ask me about a blowout. If you are so smart, explain Hoochie Daddy shorts. I don't know what that means, but that's really funny. The Fed doesn't print money. Technically they do. Like they're the ones who increased our like M2, our like money supply during COVID. But naked shorting should be banned. Yeah, that doesn't even compute, man. It is banned. Shares are just stock equities. You are buying a percentage of companies' earnings. Not companies' earnings. You're buying equity ownership in that company, not directly the earnings. Doesn't have anything to do with the U.S. Treasury Department. The Treasury controls the U.S. Mint, which prints money. But the Fed is heavily involved in that. And then they're also involved in like the overnight loans. Like that one gets a little bit more complicated of who does what and how it's all intertwined. It's hoochie mama. Fuck, you guys got me again. Hang on. Pipper fired. Pipperoonie. Dude. You guys probably didn't know this, but I actually have the best cat in the world. Did you guys know that about me? Maybe yes, maybe no. I have the fucking coolest cat ever invented. Ever made by mankind. Okay, if you are in the Discord, Piper just finally fired on that push. Do I want to? You guys didn't ask me about this, but I went to the premiere of Peacemaker, the second season of the John Cena show. It was actually really good. But I wasn't important enough to get invited to the after party, which I'm not upset about. I'm not pissed. I'm not pissed or anything. Matt, any plays you are in the space mining? Lunar is interesting. 1.61 market cap, beaten down. Space mining? Are you just making... that's a field I could be involved in right now? I could be involved in space mining? Are we sure about this? Are we absolutely sure that your boy can get involved in fucking space mining? Where's this dipshit at? Space mining. Hang on, I'm trying to execute a trade that I don't know if they're going to give it to me. I don't know if they're going to give it to me. So Netflix, wait, what is this? I'm up 7K on that. Dude, if I held that, what are those trading at? Dude, I got out at $7 or $6 or something. Orders. I got in at 710, out at 810, and they are now trading at 12. Shit, I could have made a lot more money. Woulda, coulda, shoulda. Woulda, coulda, shoulda. I've noticed in life you can't cry over milk. Whether spilled or not, it's just not a manly thing to do. No girl's ever said, it's all right. 2% upsets me as well. That's just a thing you never heard. It's simply a thing you have never. All right. What time is it? It's 10:15. You guys have been awfully nice to me today. Should we check in on the damage on the account? I have not looked at my swing account just because I knew it'd upset me and make me want to throw myself off a building. Should we do it? Should we do it? Thumbs up or thumbs down, or should we just wait till tomorrow? Should we just wait till tomorrow? Whole milk, bruh. All right, looks like this stream's a little bit behind on this one. Come on, give me my fucking fill. Give me my fucking fill. Should we do it? Obviously. All right. Come on. Please don't be that bad. Please don't be that bad. Please don't be that bad. Please, 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 please. Okay. 19. We're making somewhat of a comeback. It started off down 42. 18. All right. We're climbing ourselves. Netflix, I'm up 9.7. Bitcoin, 6.5. I was up like 30. That's green. That's green. That's green. Meta's fucking me. And that Bitcoin's fine. Okay. It's better than it was. I mean, at one point it was 14. It started out 42. So it could be worse. It could be worse. It's 14, 15, 18, way more manageable than fucking 42. So I'll just take it. I'll take it. And I would feel even better if fucking Bitcoin can get going. Bitcoin, come on. Netflix, it took out that high from yesterday. Let's see if it can keep going. I want to see, I guess, 46. Avago, I need that bad mamma jamma to fight back. Apple, I have no position, but I am closely watching it. Meta, I need this bad mamma jamma to fight back as well. I would love that push of 800. Palantir, right at the bottom of its range, waiting for that to pick up. Microsoft, it's in its range. Nvidia is somewhat waking up. Maybe. I mean, it's been just kind of going sideways for a while now. Tesla, maybe a fake out breakout. We're watching that trend line. Coin looks like a failed recovery. BITX is fucking me. MSCR. I'm so happy I got out of hood when I did. Now I can reload if need be. Reload. Oh, it never got its downside gap fill. Interesting. It got really close, like really close, but never actually tagged it. I'm happy I got out of that when the getting was good. Opens waking up. I fucking hate the guy who's like talking about this on Twitter. He's such a little bitch. Ripple took a bit of a hit. Qualcomm's bouncing back. Solana's taking a breather after a pump. Texas Roadhouse. This is, if you guys want to see illegal naked shorting, it's whenever you see a red bar on Texas Roadhouse. Bonds are taking a bit of a hit today because of the hot inflation. Oil is down. Gold is doing nothing. Vol went up a little bit. It's getting crushed. ETH is almost at a new all-time high. And BMNR just basically going with ETH. All right, where are we? Before I let you guys go, here are the key levels I'm paying attention to. Obviously, the S&P 500 fighting its way back up out of the transition zone. Higher lows, higher lows, higher lows. Pushes from red to green. Don't be surprised on a retest. That's very common. What I'm looking for is yesterday's high, which is also a major key open interest level of 6480. I'm only looking for that if we continue with this pattern of higher lows and higher highs. Ideally, we get a nice bounce off of 66 right here, just the market accepting us being in the green, and then the pump and the follow through. My reach target would be up here at 90, which is in line with the call credit side of right here, 6490, the call credit side of the Captain Condor play, which went from 10,000 to now 16.6. With respect to flow, the Mag 7 was popping. Now it's taking a bit of a hit. The S&P 500 was popping, now taking a bit of a hit. The NASDAQ was popping, now taking a bit of a hit. Why aren't you playing CRWV IPO share unlock? Because why would I? I feel like I don't have an edge. Folks, I'm in this game for the easy setups because trading in itself is already difficult enough. You want me to do some complex fucking convoluted play in an already very difficult game? Folks, I want ideally the high reward, low risk, like high edge plays. I don't need to do some complicated shit because trading is already complicated enough. Anyway, we've been pumping, but now I'm just hoping we can create a base right here on the SPY. I'm hoping that Bitcoin can push 120,000. There, we already went over the flow. Here's Tesla's flow, popped, giving it back. Nvidia popped, giving it back. Palantir just giving it back. Microsoft popped, trying to hold, but also giving it back for tomorrow. Apple getting smacked. Netflix up, now sideways. MSTR up, now sideways. Meta up, giving a little bit back. Broadcom up sideways for most of the day. AMD down for most of the day. And Robinhood actually strong recovery ever since 10:30, but giving a little bit back right now. So that's a look at your flow. The big guys are neutral on the day. They don't know what the fuck to do. We already went over the Captain Condor play. A lot of positive gamma. Not looking for the real biggest moves today. Good chance that we end the day somewhere between 6440 and 6490. I would love for the 6490 to get blown out and us to close at 6500. But as my dad used to say, wish in one hand and shit in the other and see what fills up first. The only final thing is, don't forget the Take Profit Trader. The deal for this particular sim defunded is ending this week. 40% off, no activation fee, and 100% of your initial test refunded to you on your first withdrawal. So there's a way you can start making money from this without it costing you anything. If you get to that first withdrawal, make sure to use that code Goonie. The deal is ending this week. Pinned to the top of chat in the description of the video, or when you just go to Take Profit Trader, just make sure to put in that code Goonie. When you're checking out, sometimes it's a little confusing. There is a code, but you have to click on it and then it kind of opens up and then you can type in Goonie and it should work there. But I know many of you already figured it out, just to remind you that it is ending this particular week. That's what I have for you. I have some alerts going off right now. Not the biggest fan of that at all. Actually, I'm a little bummed to be leaving you right now because I think this strategy could fire again. Huh. Maybe. Or maybe I should just turn it off and count it for the day because these are all looking pretty freaking good. Almost at $1,000. Do I let it run? I mean, technically the system would just run to run. Huh. I don't know how I necessarily want to handle this. I could just move on with my life, unenable, and go do something with my life. I mean, that was a pretty fucking steep waterfall. I don't know. I'm torn on this one, team. I guess I'll go figure that one out in the Discord. But anyway, if you want to use Spot Gamma, links in the description, 80% off. Take profit, trader. That deal ends this week. Use that code Goonie to get 40% off, no activation fee, and your fee refunded to you on your first withdrawal. Pretty awesome deal. I love the increased competitiveness in this space because it makes more financially viable options for all of us who is taking advantage of it. Today is day one of the newest version of Skynet. And I guess to just keep our minds straight with all these different variants, I think we need a new name. Like, I think it's just like Skynet. Like, I think every single time I have to make big changes to it, I think we should come up with a new name. So before I let you guys go, what would you call, like, we could call it like the hive mind. Like, what would be a good name? Like a good name for some like robotic. Like we could just call it Jeff. It could just be like a generic name. It doesn't have to be like a robotic sounding name. It could be, we can name them after Greek gods and stuff, Roman gods. It could be named like Icarus or Zeus. Like, should we just go the god route? Skynet 3.0. So we did that for a bit. But now we're like the Skynet, Vernon. I kind of like that one, Vernon. Jorge, Hydra, Saved by the Bell, Seventh Heaven. We could like call it like a random Greek and Roman god names, and then I could use it as like an opportunity to teach you guys, and we could just go over the story of that Greek and or Roman god. Judas, Beast, Fritz, Reginald, just Reggie, Reginald, Cindy. We bounce back and forth between those god names and just like straight up normal like American ass names. Francisco Montoya de la Cruz Vista. That one, FMDLCV, that one could work. Oh, I got to think about that. Chuck Norris. I don't know. Chuck Norris is like more than a god. I don't know if I want to do that. I got to think about it. The decision will be announced today on Twitter or tomorrow during stream. Oh, fuck. I forgot to tell you. Very, very high odds chance I stream Power Hour today. Due to life and what's happening in the market, and especially if fun things start to happen and Trump speaking at one, make sure your notifications are on. On Rumble, they seem to be working. On YouTube, there seems to be an issue. If you're watching on YouTube right now, there's a bell icon right by the subscribe. Click on that and switch the bell icon to all instead of personalized. When it's on personalized, it basically lets YouTube decide if they want to pitch it to you or not. It doesn't actually give you the notification, which is really fucking stupid. So anyway, make sure you're subscribed, make sure the notifications are on. And depending on what does or doesn't happen with the market, is Netflix going? Depending on what does or doesn't happen with the market, yo, Netflix is popping. All right, I have some things to take care of. I got to look at this Netflix money, these Netflix bucks. Anywho's, that's what I have for you. I appreciate all the good vibes. I hope you're making a fuckload of money. And if you want to hang out, I'll catch you in the Discord. Much love. Catch you later. Peace.